Some of you may be saying, geez, another relaunch. Didn't we do that back in 2019? Well,
If it was another, I wouldn't have played. It's different.
yes, we did. Classic World of
That's what we're
Warcraft, as you
playing.
know, has been relaunched over and over and over as far back as the original vanilla in 04 to 07 through the means of private server communities. And it was officially re-released by Blizzard Entertainment in the fall of 2019. And although it wasn't a one-for-one recreation, it was pretty close. And that went on for a couple of years. The Burning Crusade
that
was
is so
announced,
nice.
and that launched with the level boost. I made a 1-hour video telling everybody how if the boost is coming, so is the token. Everybody called me the Alex Jones of World of Warcraft.
Hey, you! Stop bullying the multi-billion-dollar company!
I go into hibernation for 2 years. The WoW token comes out, and all of those people disappear off the face of the fucking planet, much like the player base of Wrath now, because the most powerful item is now your credit card, because they were 100% completely wrong, and I told you so. I don't like putting microtransactions in the store. That makes the freaking game dull. Sick of this crap. I'm sick of it. It's not funny. You'll excuse me. I had a moment.
All
But
good.
That was then, and this is now. So, the Season of Discovery is set in vanilla. The level cap presumably is 60, and you level in the old world. You do the old dungeons, the old raids, but with some honestly game-changing features added. Probably the biggest of which is the rune system. When Vanilla World of Warcraft was released in 2004, it swept the world, frankly, with its many innovations, its forgiving learning curve, its polished gameplay, and its rich community of non-degenerates. It was far and wide superior to pretty much every other game within the genre, and perhaps one of the biggest reasons for its success was due to its impeccable class balance.
Oh shit.
And I'm being a bit facetious
Unbreakable.
here, but believe it or not, by 2004 standards, this was immaculate. Every class, for the most part, had clearly defined roles. You had tank, heals, DPS. Some were better, some were worse, some were completely useless, but they were all completely unique from each other, I think is one of the most important things. It was pretty heavily inspired from the Dungeons and Dragons scene, and the variety offered ensured that there's a playstyle for pretty much every type of player. You had a class for the tanky people, the glass cannony people, Pokemon fans, furries, and also assholes. They all interacted with each other in
Rogues are
ways,
assholes.
and it resulted in what was one of the most polished class systems in the early mid-2000s era of the MMO, and it was, for the most part, pretty balanced. Except for
It was insane for that time. No other game could get on this level. I say it all the time. I also think, I don't know if he's right on class being balanced. It was more of back then people didn't have knowledge and didn't know how to play. So there was a big difference in skill cap. If you play Classic WoW now, I think everyone's on Vertney level almost, right? Everyone's like, they know how to do stun lock. Back when I played, dude, nobody knew how to stun lock. Maybe like a couple of rogues, 5% of the rogues knew how to stun lock. People didn't know how to stun lock properly. I'm not even kidding. I played from 2004, so not a lot of people were good at the game, nor there were guides or a lot of videos showing how to play. People sucked at the game, man. So bad. No one knew what Skull of Impending Doom was too. Only like top 5%. All these items and gadgets, everyone knows now because Classic WoW existed forever. But yeah, I think back then it felt balanced because there was a big gap in the skill.
for shamans.
Yeah, back then,
which have always
clicking,
been completely
keyboard
fucking
turning.
overpowered, by the way.
Yeah, they were
But
insane.
that was then, and this is now. It's no longer 2004, and by today's standards, the class balance is
What the fuck is
under
this?
2004, and by today's standard for some, the class balance is
Less
a
than
little
3.
Dated, some would say. Some would say the rotations are a bit simple, but this is where the runes come in. Every class in the game now gets a selection of runes. These are found throughout the world in chests, from quests, dungeons, wherever. You can find these runes, which upon being learned will allow the player to attach them to what
penance.
is now currently their leg, gloves, or chest slots. There will be more slots added later, but as of right now, there are 4 per slot. They're interchangeable at any time out of combat, and they're aimed to modernize the design and balance of the vanilla class system. For instance here, feral druids in vanilla World of Warcraft are pretty bad. Well, I mean, in some situations they can be decent, and they can be useful if they... who are we kidding? They're pretty worthless.
Yeah.
In Season of Discovery, however,
The kings.
they're god tier because not only do they deal some pretty decent damage, one of their runes gives Wind Fury to party members, so they've transitioned from no one wants them to a guaranteed raid spot. Seriously, like, you could be a naked feral druid right now, and you would get a raid spot solely based on this one rune. So,
Not false.
I'm not going to go over every rune, but it's a similar story.
Mid Discord?
with pretty
Is
much
it
every
mine?
other
Mine
class
shouldn't even do that. No, that was the video chat.
spec. Balanced druids have their mana issues resolved with the free cast Wrath. Paladins
Mine's-
can now
I'm
cloak the
streamer
ranged with
mode.
the Captain America shield, and they also have an active damaging ability with Crusader Strike. Warriors have more mobility with the ability to charge in combat. Some of these runes are returned from previous expansions, such as Victory Rush from Burning Crusade for Warriors, Penance for Priests from Wrath, Crusader Strike for Paladins from Burning Crusade, and others are completely new, and some classes even have new roles.
Damn,
such
I wish
as
I got
Warlock
something new as a
tanks
Paladin.
or Mage Healers, for instance. So, as a result, the balance and meta are pretty much completely overhauled. PvP feels very different, PvE feels very different, just everything feels different, but sort of in that same familiar vanilla setting that everybody has come to know and love. Aside from this, we also have level up raids. Some of the dungeons, currently as of this video there's only one, and that's the Black Fathom Deeps. They've been reworked into 10-man raids. So the bosses have changed, they actually have mechanics, and they drop different loot. The difficulty is pretty easy, honestly. It's pretty puggable at this point. You do not need a raiding guild to clear BFD, although having actual raid mechanics is another modernization, as the vanilla raiding scene is pretty simple, to say the least. And, this will be something that will be fleshed out later, in later phases. And speaking of
What do
which,
you guys think? I think the difficulty's fine, right? I used to be one of those saying make it harder, make it harder. Then I realized a lot of people saying in my comment sections, if you want it difficult, go play retail. And in a way, he's right. And I remember Zaru saying it too. If he wants to try hard, he's going to go play retail and he doesn't want to sweat. And classic, I mean, you can sweat, but it's not a hard sweat.
another important thing to mention is that the Season of Discovery is releasing content in a unique way through progressive
boo.
levels. So back
Classic
in
is a
2019
vibe, yeah.
Classic, when they were doing the beta and they were testing it, they tested it in phases. The phase 1 cap was 20, and the next was 30, and so on and so forth. And while this was done to focus test the game little by little, it created an unintended but interesting effect of elongating the journey to the max level. People explored the lower level areas more, they PvP'd at low levels through community-run dueling tournaments, and it sort of reminded the community the importance of the journey in the MMO, and that's sort of a lost art.
Dude, this is the best feeling, right, chat? I know it's annoying to grab quests or kill shit, but seeing a lot of player run in the zone, dude, it's a good feeling.
In the genre today.
Yes, I know it's
It always
annoying
seems
and
to
you're
be
trying to
more
get a
about the
fucking wolf kill. You're like, oh my god, that fucking guy stole it, but it's fun. I like that spree feeling.
destination rather than the journey. And one of the major design philosophies of the Season of Discovery is rediscovering this forgotten journey.
It's still
rather
cool,
than the
man.
destination. Shoutouts to the level boost released in the Burning Crusade, by the way. But anyways, one of the ways of achieving this is adding new content, new recipes, and quests at lower levels, and even capping the levels out phase by phase. So in phase 1, the level cap is 25. In phase 2, it'll be 40, and then 50, 60. And while many people will be split on this, I for one like it because I think that considering that most people who quit an MMO do so when they reach the max level, shoutouts to the level boost released in DC by the way, elongating and adding more content that isn't at the max level accentuates one of Classic's greatest strengths. And it also has a good side effect because
What is this game? This guy's running like a bozo.
it counters the MMORPG genre's biggest weaknesses. Aside from World of Warcraft, pretty much every single MMO ever released follows the following flowchart. There's this slow but steady buildup of hype in pre-release. New information is being dropped all the time, interviews are going out, gameplay's being shared.
I feel like that's every game, no? Yo, thank you for all the resubs, by the way. I'll thank you guys properly after. I feel like that's every game. Any game you touch, it's always super hype. Everyone's talking about it. You did the raid and dungeon, and once you beat it, it's just like boom. Maybe like this. It was like that for phase 1 and Solid 2. Solid was like, oh my god, and then boom, boom. I think P2 is like this. I don't think P2 is hype as P1. There was so many people playing P1, I think. Even retail WoW is like this, and then it's always elongated. There's like a little length period of every MMO. And I understand that now. Like, it can't be hype always. Some people are going to get tired of the repetitive stuff, and you just got to wait for the next patch. It's like that in FF. Any game you play, man. Any game you play is like this. There will be no game ever that stays like this. It's impossible, man. With all the game modes we have and different comparison we make to other games, especially, that just makes it so hard. There's too many good games out there. Fortnite? Nah, Fortnite's... It was like this. That's what I'm saying. Every game has ups and downs.
And everybody's getting all excited to throw themselves into the unknown. And the weeks before release, it hits like this critical mass. Everybody's all edged out. And then, boom, the climax. Release day hits, the servers are overloaded, and everybody explodes out of the leveling zones, much like sperm ejaculating from a penis.
What are we talking
breaks
about?
records, it's popping off for about a week or two, and then the honeymoon phase ends, the tourists leave, and
okay,
that
he's
MMO
saying
settles on a
basically
pretty
what I'm
niche
saying.
community of people who stick around. And this is all because one of the most major appeals with the MMORPG genre is just the fact that it's the new thing. There's something very appealing about starting out fresh with everybody and beginning this new journey equally with everyone. It's why, after all, vanilla, whether through official means or otherwise, has been re-released about 1,400 different times. It's all about feeling fresh. Joining an MMO that's been running for even a few months is, much like myself, it feels unattractive and bloated. And I know this because a question you'll see all the time is it too late to start X or Y or Z or whatever
You're
MMO
never
it
too
is?
late.
Is it too late to start New World, Lost Ark, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, or whatever the case may be?
Is
I
that
guess
even
the
a
point
real
I'm trying
game?
to draw here is that although it's not a hard reset that you would get with a new launch, it's a soft reset in the sense that each phase has a new level cap, and the gear from the previous phase will be made to be less relevant. And therefore, even right now, with Season of Discovery being 2 months old, if you were to pick it up right now and level a character to 25 before Phase 2 launches on the 8th of February, you don't really feel like you're that behind. Theoretically, this should also be true when the cap is released to 50, and then also, of course, 60, where then it'll presumably follow the normal progression that you'd come to expect from vanilla with, Onyxia, MC, BWL, etc., etc. Beyond that, another appealing thing that Season of Discovery has going for it is just potential. Blizzard recently released the following roadmap, previewing what's in store not only for the Season of Discovery, but also Cataclysm Classic for the 7 people who are going to play that. But at the end here, we have after level 60, endgame content updates.
Oh, true. New raid.
So, in BlizzCon, they teased that they had plans for content previously scrapped in vanilla, and this could mean anything. The new content could be that awesome WoW token, for all we know, but
I don't think SOD. I don't think they're gonna add anything because they're removing like GDKP, right? They're trying their best with the bot. If it was like Wrath or Classic relaunch, maybe, but in SOD, it feels like they really want to get tight with the community and try to do things that will make us happy. It's like a fan service. Clip this and show it in one ear. SOD, I think they're doing good.
Think that combining this with the fact that they're recruiting more developers for Classic specifically, it could mean that Season of Discovery could evolve into the elusive Classic Plus that many have been clamoring for many years. But that's Season of Discovery in a nutshell. It's not all perfect. I do have some complaints.
Okay. Is it Laring? Laring was...
3 billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the war Judgment Day. They lived
Oh
only
shit,
to
that's our
pursue
guild chat judgment.
the war against the machines.
Oh shit. What is this, bots? Yeah.
I know that there are people out there who are willing to throw themselves into traffic to defend the multi-billion-dollar company, but I'm sorry. We put men on the moon. We have robots exploring Mars. I'm pretty sure it's possible to control cheating in the recreation of a 20-year-old video game. I feel like botting is like this two-headed hydra, and you have to attack both heads. The bots and the RMTers, the real money transactioners, the swipers. And frankly, Blizzard is soft on the swipers. I feel like they rarely hand out suspensions, and when they do, they're like 2 weeks or none at all, and they just take away their gold. If I had a say in it, I would say permaban.
The Senate will decide this.
Oh
I am
shit.
Senate.
If people know that they risk their account, they RMT less. Simple as that. With less RMT, demand goes down, it becomes less profitable to bot, therefore it's done less. And you're
Fuck 'em.
attacking this
Send them
problem
home.
of cheating and botting from two different angles. I also think that if they were to hire actual human GMs to monitor popular spots, it would go a long way. It's a big world, but the farm spots are limited, and it's extremely easy for anybody who's even remotely familiar with the game to spot them out in the wild. Right now though, because they are a small indie game dev, they seem to rely more on automated detection and player reports. The latter actually being dangerous because if the bots find out who's reporting them, they will actually mass report this good citizen and get them suspended because it's all automated. There's no actual human who checks before closing accounts. So, again, small indie game dev, by the way. This
They
is
should
atrocious.
definitely check. There should be a guy going like, pass, look into it. Is that too much work?
In my opinion. There was a time where Blizzard customer support had this incredibly good reputation, but ever since around here, when they were acquired by you-know-who, it kind of started to turn poo-poo, and now today, they have one of the worst customer support systems in gaming, it seems. I think that all of this is probably wishful thinking, unfortunately, because the bottom line is that policing your own game consistently is just not financially lucrative. Obviously, it
I mean,
costs
there's a
money.
lot to say about this. Fuck. Yes, back then, GMs were insanely cool. They would message you, do a little joke here and there. And as they go, they would tell you like a wild joke. I remember all this too, because I played since the start, right? And I know in Classic WoW, there were a few botters. And some people say, oh, back then it was so good because they had good service and there would be no cheaters or bots. It's just technology along the way. And I think it's a lot harder to take care of all the bots, man. Is it easier said done? I think it's hard, chat. I don't think it's an easy job. Because people might say like, oh, Lost Ark doesn't care. Let them run around the bots. Maybe they don't care. I don't know, though. I feel like any game company that lets bots run around, that's so stupid. In what mind would they think it looks good, right? I think they are trying. I saw multiple interviews where they're definitely trying to give us an idea of what they're trying to do and achieve. So I think they're trying. It's just hard. It's like people illegally downloading or watching movies online. It just keeps spreading, right? Even though they take down a website, like they're all going to copy that, put it on a new website. Same thing with bots. If they ban wave, they're going to change the pattern a little bit. It just keeps improvising, right? And as the technology advances, more people are online, more people do stuff up here. I think it's harder. I wouldn't say, at least in SOD, it doesn't look like they're ignoring it. I think they're trying. Link your social info to play WoW. I mean, that would be the greatest solution, but I don't think they would do that. I don't think in NA. In Korea, they do that where you need to use social security number to play WoW. If you get banned, you're fucking donezo. So I guess you could say in some countries that work. In NA, you can make like 10 accounts, right? It's just different.
It's $15 less a month. They certainly have the money.
LA banned me for
but
RMT? Yeah, the game does ban you, man. It does.
as a publicly traded AAA video game developer, they kind of want to keep it. So
I mean, obviously
it
they could
sucks.
hire more. They could definitely hire more people in the banning area or checking area.
But I think it's just something that you have to accept. People will cheat. There will be bots. Some of them will be banned. Many won't. It's probably not going to get fixed, but I thought it was certainly worth mentioning in a review of the game.
I hope it gets fixed.
Because for many people, I'm sure it's a deal breaker.
I don't think anyone
and
likes it, yeah.
I completely understand why. So, all of this is to say, SOD is pretty cool. It's not perfect, but then again, nothing ever is, except for me. I think that they've done a pretty good job with it so far, and I'm hoping that they don't ruin it like they did Classic by selling all forms of character progression in a genre of games centered entirely around character progression, but it is Blizzard we're talking about. I am certainly past the point of vouching for them, but, you know, I have to give wins when they're deserved, and I know I've been really, really critical of Blizzard in recent years, but so far, I think Season of Discovery is a big W, as was Hardcore Classic. And I've actually been playing it quite a bit, and when people ask me if it's fun, generally I tell them, yeah, it's pretty good. But aside from that, I just wanted to go over some channel-related stuff here. Sorry it's been a while since I posted videos. I've been going through a bit of burnout of editing, and this
tell me
tends to
about it,
happen
brother.
from time to time.
I have an editor now, chat. I used to love editing myself, but it's a lot. Streaming and editing, it's a lot. If you're doing it daily, it's a lot.
But usually what I do is I just take a break for a little while. I've been over around on Twitch where I've been streaming pretty much every day, so I am around if you guys ever miss me. And I've also begun to multi-stream to here on YouTube as well for those of you who prefer this website. So yeah, just check around and you should see some of that live streaming goodness. That being said, I do have a couple more videos already in production as we speak, so I plan on being much more active on here as well. And I just wanted to say thanks for being patient with me and not forgetting about me. Since I will be a little more active on here, and I will also be streaming on here, I have also enabled memberships on the channel, so you should now see a join button on all of my videos and streams. These are essentially the equivalent of Twitch subscriptions, and if you join, you'll receive some special perks such as early access to videos, access to my members only feed with video updates, as well as emotes and badges and whatnot, and probably more stuff as I come up with it, so check that out as well if that interests you. With that though, I will end the video with this. Thank you for watching. Like it if you liked it, and also
Thank you for the video.
Peace.
I'll link it in the chat, boys.